There are two different types of separation techniques that you need to know for the exam. One of them is to separate two miscible liquids, and one of them is to separate two immiscible liquids. First, you need to know what those keywords mean. The first one is miscible. Basically, that means that liquids that mix together. So if you have two liquids, they will not separate. So if I take a liquid, for example water, and pour in another liquid that is miscible, you will see this. The particles mix together and are evenly spread throughout. To separate this, you need to use a process called fractional distillation. You will see a demo of this in a second. So nice and simply, they mix together, they can't be separated by normal techniques, they have to be separated by boiling point.
When you have two miscible liquids, which means that they mix together, you can't separate them using a separating funnel, so you have to use something called distillation. There are a couple that you'll have come across in the past, which is fractional distillation, where you can separate out crude oil or the elements from the air. Distillation works by separating liquids based on their boiling point. So what happens is you heat the liquid up until one of the liquids starts to evaporate. The liquid will come up through here into a condensing chamber. In this condensing chamber, water is being passed around the outside, which will help to cool the gas as it evaporates. As that gas cools, it will condense back down into a liquid and be trapped in this test tube. You can see the liquid is now starting to boil, and soon it will start to move down this condensing chamber, which you can see here, and eventually it will be collected in this test tube, which you can see happening right now. Now you can see I've got two separate liquids, my orange liquid in here, and in here my ethanol. So two miscible liquids separated by their boiling points.
The second one you need to know is immiscible liquids. That's exactly the opposite, they don't mix. So if I pour a liquid into this, they will form two separate layers. Just like that. These can easily be separated by using something called a separating funnel, which again I will show you in a minute. So nice and simply, immiscible liquids means they do not mix together. They don't.
When you have two immiscible liquids, two liquids that don't mix together, you use something called a separating funnel. The first thing you do is you mix the liquids together and then leave them to separate. Once the liquid has been left to settle, you use the tap here to slowly let the bottom layer out. When it gets near to the bottom, you can slow it down to make sure you completely separate your two layers. And there we go. We have one layer here and one layer left in the separating funnel.